Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the ACHA Power Play Season 9 right here on 12 Ounce Sports. And of course, on our YouTube channel, 12 Ounce Sports, where you can subscribe and find us on all of our platforms, all of our shows on our platform here on the YouTube channel. And again, we want to welcome everybody that's watching us on our Roku channel, our live network sports right here on 12 Ounce Sports. So great show lined up for you here tonight on the ACHA Power Play, the road to St. Louis. 2 months from now, we will have the puck dropped in St. Louis for the Division One national tournament. We've got all 5 divisions are convening in St. Louis, and as we mentioned, that's down the road tonight. We've got a couple of great guests. We've got Andrew Miller is going to join us here momentarily, the head coach of Lindenwood's ACHA Women's D1 program. Latest rankings, they're currently 10th in the country, so they're right in there in the rankings for that trip to nationals. And then at the bottom of the hour, we've got Taylor Costello joining us from Eastern Michigan's women's D2 team. They're ranked #1 in the Central region, and quite a feat for a program in their first year. So can't wait to talk to Taylor as well. So without any further ado, let's welcome into the program the head coach of Lindenwood's ACHA Women's D1 program, Andrew Miller. Andrew, thank you for taking time out tonight to be with us. How are you?
I'm great. No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you're on tonight because I have a confession to make to our viewers and our listeners. I've been telling everybody all year that it's only 10 teams are making it to nationals, and I was rudely awakened over the weekend that it's 12, and
Yeah,
I didn't know about that. That's great to hear, and I'm glad you're on here to you can kind of welcome that news to all of our viewers
right.
here.
When the season started, it was only 10 teams. That was a
Okay.
modification kind of made through our council, like the D1 level, just to fit some more teams in. And I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's, 12 allows for the 4 conference champions and 8 at large to get in, so it kind of fits. But it was more of a scheduling issue, right? Because it
Yeah.
changes the amount of games that are down here at when the national championship kicks off.
So, and I'm not asking you to look ahead, or anything, but how does the format now? I know it's going to be pool play. Is it 3 pools of or 4 pools of 3? How is that going to work?
Four pools of 3, yep. And then the winners of each pool will go on to a semifinal and then the final.
Okay, so you're going to get how many games are you guaranteed then for those?
There'll be 2 guaranteed, and I'm not sure how the third, if there's like a third, if the top team goes through. I can't remember if we
Okay.
actually did that into the format.
Okay.
But you're 2 guaranteed in the pool play.
And that's great. It's I kind of like the change when I heard about it, and it gives the teams at least a couple of games to play. You get to enjoy the experience maybe a little bit more of playing in a national tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think again we'll give some balance to all the regions coming into, so the footprint gets a little bit bigger for everyone involved, and that's always a good thing as well to try and grow the women's Division One level.
Okay, so getting to your team, I like to keep an eye on all the divisions, and to me, what stands out as far as competition wise, the 2 conferences that I think are the toughest, and I know people are going to say, well, I don't know about that, Lou, but at the D3 men's level, it's the Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference. They always send, at least a half a dozen teams to nationals, and the conference that you play in the top 12, there's 7 teams, I believe, that have a legitimate shot at going to nationals. Man, you talk about tough competition, tough competition, Andrew. That's huge.
Yeah, it is. It is tough week in, week out. But I think that's what you want
Yeah.
when you're playing at the Division One level. You know what you want to go into each week, playing a good opponent, getting prepared for them, and it does make the road to getting to the national championship a little more challenging at times. But that's always been, a recruiting tool, saying, "Hey, we're in a great division here. Come down, and you're gonna have great hockey week in, week out."
I know you got a big weekend again this weekend. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But in your eyes, the first semester, what we like to call on the program, the marathon part of the schedule, how did that? Are you happy with how the first semester went?
Yeah, I am. I am pretty happy with it. We had a trip up to Minot, which always is a tough road, but I think overall we played really well. We were a super young team last year, so we're still fairly young this year, and I think we were making pretty good strides forward. We've got to get a little bit better closing games out. We've been up a few games and let things slide in the third period. So we only, like you said, the marathon beginning, we were in the sprint to the end here with only 9 games left. So hopefully in those close games, which we're going to need in the playoffs, that we can we figure out a way how to win those ones.
Yeah, I see one of the wins. You talk about going to Minot. You were able to split with them, a perennial power. That had to give the gals a little bit of confidence.
Oh, absolutely. That was a good game. And then they came. We had a conference. We have an in-season kind of conference tournament in St. Louis, and they came down here and we lost to them. We were up and they came back late, and that's one of the games I was talking about. We lost in overtime to them. But they are, they're a good team year in, year out. And especially going up there on the road, that's a tough place to go up and play.
We talked about it briefly a minute ago about the tough competition, and I've yet to find a coach that doesn't like to play the best teams, because it is really a great measuring stick.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's what you want. And I know my girls love it. I know that's like one of the good things. Like the competition within the conference is so high that every week you have a big game. So it's not a letdown, or not that you should ever really have a letdown, but as a coach, you want that game, that week in, week out. You're up against good competition. You look at the rankings, and those are all the teams that we battle against. And then having 2 other teams in the St. Louis area with Maryville and McHenry right around us, it's also a really good rivalry to have those teams, and they're doing very well as well.
Now, I look at some of your standout players, Andrew, that you've got. You've got Loki Antonio and Madison Teague off to a great start, and also Arden Harashiko. I hope I pronounced that right.
Close enough. It gets pronounced Harashiko, but yeah.
Okay. What stands out is the offensive output of Madison Teague from the blue line.
Yeah, she's an outstanding player. She's a senior this year, and she's always had that offensive game to her. And she's made a few. She's as you progress through your years, you hopefully you're getting better, and she's done that. And she's just become a real quarterback on the power play. That's a big jump in her game, where she's seen the ice from the top of that kind of umbrella, and she's moving the puck, shooting it in the proper times, and it's really been an offensive boost for her. But she's a fantastic two-way player, great skater, great shot, just an all-around good defenseman.
Then you got Arden and Loki. I just noticed too, they've each got 7 power play goals. It sounds like your power play unit's doing pretty impressive this year.
Yeah, they can move the puck around. That's for sure. I always want to make sure we have some 5-on-5 scoring, but special teams are such a big part of the game. You want to be able to take advantage of it. And we've been able to do that this first part of the year.
How much, I'm always interested, how much time do you spend in practice on special teams as opposed to maybe your 5-on-5 drills?
We dedicate depending on how the week breaks out. So we have 5 days on the ice before the weekend, and we'll start Wednesday working on our power play, penalty kill. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll do special teams. We'll mix in stuff, but we're especially that's a focus. So it's quite a bit of time, just because there's a big advantage in those, in those areas of the game. So we try and work on them and work specifically against whoever our opponent is. So, our PK can change week to week, just kind of where we want to put pressure and that kind of thing. So that takes some work.
Andrew Miller's joining us. He is the head coach of the Lindenwood Lions ACHA women's D1 team, ranked number 10 now. The current rankings just came out right before we came on the air. So you say you got 4 automatic bids and then 8 at-large bids. So it's a little bit of an easier, not easier, but a little more breathing room maybe to get one of those at-large bids then.
Yeah, there'll be more. So it will really only be three, like the 3 conferences.
Okay.
We have the 3 conferences. So 3 of the automatic conferences, and then the at-large bids. Okay. And we had a couple teams, like in Arizona State, went independent this year. So it's a benefit for some of those teams that don't have a conference right now, or looking to get back into one, or do whatever it's best for them. They'll have an opportunity to get into the national championship as well.
So with the quote unquote sprint part of the schedule, like you said, you got 9 games left. Do you as a coaching staff, do you prep the team any different now that you're out of winter break? I mean, is there anything that you do with the routine, or is it pretty much the same as you would back like in September when you start the regular season?
Yeah, no, we get right back in. We got to make sure we're, fitness wise, we're at the level that we want to be. But other than that, we'll just jump right back in and try to get our routine going like we left it as soon as we can. So it doesn't feel like there's been big interruption because there is kind of a big break. So
yeah.
We just want to get back to the norm and get working the same as we did prior to leaving. And hopefully that kind of routine gets back and the girls are comfortable and we're, gives them the best opportunity to perform on the weekend.
So are you able to take time out to recruit during the regular season?
Yeah, yes, but it's tough to get away just because of like our schedule. So it's a lot we can do on video, or if we have coaches' contacts, that we use, and that oh yeah, this team's playing, and we can have someone go out and watch someone for us. But in person, it's normally there's Stony Creek's a big one, right? Kind of that's before the season gets going. There's in Ontario, but then after that, it gets a little tough getting away until like you can get out over the break, the Christmas break. You can get to some stuff, but in season, it's real hard to get away.
So if there's one thing that stands out, maybe that the gals need to work on, to solidify their push to get a nationals bid, what would that be?
I think consistently competing night in, night out at a level that's, at a high level.
Yeah.
I think that goes for most teams. You want that compete level up as high as you can. You spoke about a Minot, like game in, game out, they'll work hard, but then there's Liberties of the world that we play against, Midlands and Maryville. They're all going to come at you hard every game. So we got to make sure we're at that level of compete. And that for us, that's the biggest kind of detail we want to make sure we're taking care of every game. We preach that a lot, just shift in, shift out, making sure you're competing.
But, again, I go back to your conference, and that's like a nationals type atmosphere just about every weekend. And then like this weekend, you got Grand Valley, a team that's got pedigree at, a national tournament pedigree. It's like, you can't let up. You can't even take a period off, man. That's insane. I mean, I know it makes you battle tested, but boy, you're absolutely right. You got to stay consistent. You got Arizona, you got McKendree, I mean, Miami. Wow.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule, and like I said, that's kind of, and I would go back to us kind of losing some games late, not knowing how to win those tight ones at times, and that part of that goes to maintaining that just shift in, shift out, compete attitude, and making the smart hard play, not necessarily the highlight reel play at all times. So, but like I said, we've progressed, gotten better, and that's where the focus is to kind of be at the highest level we can be at the end of the season.
So if you get free time, who's your favorite NHL team?
Oh, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I grew up in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I came down and played. I was at Miami University and played college hockey there, and then I met my wife is from St. Louis, and we met there, and so that's how I ended up in St. Louis. But yeah, I follow the Leafs all the time, unfortunately. So
boy. I've got so many friends now that are Maple Leaf fans, and I feel for you. As long as the Red Wings aren't in it, I've got a soft spot. Being from Michigan here, that's I feel for the Maple Leafs fans. You're kind of like us Detroit Lion fans, man.
Yeah. They're actually similar because they have good teams at the moment. Now they got to get across the finish line. So. But yeah, there's been no championships in my lifetime. No Stanley Cups. So it's been
your wife hasn't converted you to be a Blues fan?
No. You can't convert a lifelong fan where you grew up.
You're right.
I say I bleed blue, right? They bleed, the Blues and the Leafs.
There you go. You go. So, and then you played college hockey at Miami. What got you into coaching?
Just love of playing hockey, like being at the game. just staying around the game. And so I've always been around coaching at different levels, and this opportunity came up. So I just jumped on it. I've had a great time doing it. I have a group of girls now that are like work hard. They're good people to be around. We have a good locker room feel, a good culture. So I have a great time around them. So it's been a really good experience.
And, it's exciting to watch the game of women's hockey grow. I've been watching it, up closely, doing play-by-play for about a decade. And the intensity of it and the talent level is just, it's grown in leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and it continues to get better as more and more. I think the big thing, obviously, there's a lot of girls, like the participation numbers are getting higher.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more, the coaching level for the girls hockey has got a lot higher. There's more people involved. There's more women that are involved with it, which is great for women's hockey at the coaching level, at the highest levels, right? So
yeah.
It's just overall, like the numbers, and then there's been better coaching, and I just, it's the best game in the world. So I once you play it, you're not going to say, oh, this is not for me. So, it's just growing, and it's good to see.
And, the more teams are in it at the ACHA level too. And when you've got a showcase like you have at the end of the year with the national tournament in a central location like St. Louis, and then, one of the other things I noticed, you've got more in-season showcases for the women as well as the men, and it just highlights it even more.
Yeah, we, like I said, we do an in-conference showcase and then an all-star game on the last Sunday. So we have all our teams come in, we play 3 games, and then a Sunday all-star, East versus West. We kind of break it up into 2 conferences. So we've done that for the past few years, and that's really been a great game, a fun game, really good atmosphere because all the teams are in town. They all come to the game, they all come to the rink, and so there's a good atmosphere to the game. So we do a pretty good job there, and it's really good for the girls. They have a good time with it.
Well, Andrew, I appreciate you taking time out tonight to be with us. This has been a lot of fun. It's great to meet you. Good luck. Hope that you can make the stretch run and get into the national tournament so I can meet up with you in person down in St. Louis. My goodness, it's hard to believe it's going to be 2 months from now already.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I'll be there. Win or lose, I'll be there. I'll be coming in there to watch the hockey for sure. But hopefully we're in it and playing and competing. And I appreciate your time as well. Thank you.
All right, Andrew. Thank you. Andrew Miller, the head coach of Lindenwood's ACHA women's D1 team, joining us here on the show. Andrew, good luck with the rest of your year. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Good night.
Good night. All right. That's it. They're currently ranked number 10 in the country at the ACHA women's D1 level. Great talking with Andrew. They've been to the Nationals. It's been a few years. I think it was 3 years ago was their last trip to Nationals. They're looking to get back, and they're sitting pretty good. And as I mentioned, they play in such a monster conference in that ACHA, the WMCH. Again, I look at it, and they've got. I don't know if I can grab it real quick, or I can go. Oh, here it is. They've. I thought I had. Okay, here we go. McKendree, Minot, Midland, Maryville, Liberty. Jamestown, Minnesota. That is a murderer's row of teams when it comes to the women's ACHA D1 level. It's a monster conference, and you can see why they get the teams they do in the national tournament. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go over the latest rankings in the ACHA women's D1 and talk a little bit more. And don't forget, coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll have Taylor Costella. She's the head coach of Eastern Michigan's women's D2 program, off to a great start in their first year as a program in the ACHA. So stick around for that. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's live right here on 12 Ounce Sports and our 12 Ounce Sports YouTube channel, and of course on Roku as well.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
That's right. We are your ticket broker. Can't say it enough. You don't pay those fees that you see at some of those other secondary markets. So if you want to go to one of the NFL divisional playoff games coming up this weekend, including the team out of Detroit City, or if you want to go to the college football championship game Monday night or an NHL game, we've got the tickets for you. That is at tickets.12ouncesports.com, or actually just go to 12ouncesports.com, hit the ticket tab. It'll get you right to the seats or to the games that you want to go to. Use the promo code 12ounce. You'll even get a little better discount there as well. All right, again, we want to thank Andrew Miller, the head coach of the Lindenwood Lions, the ACHA women's D1 team, for stopping by and talking some Lions hockey, as they are currently ranked number 10 in the ACHA women's D1 poll that was just released a little bit ago. And so without any further ado, we will go through that poll with you. I'm just going to read it verbatim like I said, it came out last minute, so I don't have it up to be able to share it on the screen. But again, you've got the number one team in the land, that's being Liberty. They're looking to get back to the top of the mountain, currently occupied by the number two team in the land, that's Adrian College. Then you've got Maryville at 3, Minot up a couple of spots to number 4. You've got Midland dropped down from 4 to 5, and then McKendree, they dropped from 5 to 6. So those are your top 6. Indiana Tech out of the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, there's 7. Then you've got Niagara up from 9 to 8. Michigan is down to 9, and then Lindenwood, as we mentioned, at 10. Michigan Dearborn at 11, and then you've got Miami at 12. And then on the outside looking in right now, Jamestown bumping their way up to 13. So they're right on the edge as well. Arizona State down to 14. And, of course, Michigan State at 15. So the top 12. Now, it's the top 12. They made the in-season change. And I'm glad I felt bad, but now I feel a little bit better, because at the beginning of the year, it still was 10 teams. So they did make that change. And it's going to go to pool play, like Coach Miller mentioned. 4 pools of 3. They're each going to get 2 games, and then they'll determine the winner after that. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. But as we mentioned, when you talk about the again, the conference that these women play in, McKendree's ranked, Minot's ranked, Midland's ranked, Maryville's ranked, Liberty's ranked, Lindenwood is ranked, Jamestown is 13th. So they're like right close to getting in. I mean, they're 14th. I mean, they're knocking on the door to get in. So you have got right now 6 of the teams out of the WMCH ranked in the top 12. They would be gunning for those spots. So it really is. It's going to be interesting to see if all 6 of these teams can get in, all quality teams. And it would made for some great hockey at the women's national tournament. And of course, as we mentioned, Adrian, the defending national champion. So again, just found out about that, and I apologize, but it is a 12-team tournament at the ACHA women's D1 level. So yeah, it's going to be fun to track that as well. We talked about showcases coming that we've had throughout the year. You've had the Capper Classic in Chicago, where they had the Big Ten Classic and all kinds of teams at the D1 level being spotlighted. There's a big 4-day event coming up out west. And it's let me see if I can bring it up real quick. It's called the Big Mountain Hockey Conference Showcase. It's the ACHA Division II Showcase, sponsored by the Big Mountain Hockey Conference. And it's being hosted by Colorado State, Denver, MSU Denver, and Northern Colorado. There is 4 days worth of games, Thursday or Friday through Monday. There's actually one game on Thursday night, and that's Denver against Dakota College of Bottineau. This has got some quality teams at the D2 level. It's going to be played at 3 or 4 different ice arenas throughout the weekend. Sioux College is going out there. They're nationally ranked in one of the regions, in the central region, I believe it is, or I'm sorry, the southeast region. Then you've got Cincinnati, always a player out of the southeast region. They've been to the national tournament many times. Weber State and MSU Denver are going to be playing on Friday. Those two teams, I believe, are ranked 1 and 2 in Division II in the West region. Let's see if I can bring that up. Yeah, they're ranked 1 and 2. So that's going to be a matchup of the top two teams in the Western region of Division II as part of that showcase. It goes from Friday until Monday with the long holiday weekend. So they get 4 days of games. Sioux College playing Colorado. Again, you've got Michigan State making the trek out there. Grand Canyon coming up. Northern Arizona, Boise State, Utah State. Texas making the trip up. They're looking to try to get to the national tournament as well. Bowling Green, a lot of great teams out of the D2 level on the men's side going to be there for this 4-day tournament. The 8th annual Big Mountain Conference Classic. It's Friday through Monday, and with one game coming up Thursday, but it's a huge matchup. And again, all this is going to do is solidify some of these team standings as you get closer and closer to the D2 national tournament. And as a matter of fact, with conference or with the regionals that are coming up the last weekend of February, that's crunch time for these teams. The top, as we've mentioned numerous times, the top 2 teams in each region get the automatic berth to the national tournament. And then after that, 3 through 14 have to go through regional tournament play. So it's important I'm going to give you Weber State and Montana State. Those two teams, they're playing each other. It's such great competition out west. They want to, make a good showing to keep that 1 or 2 ranking, because that gauntlet of going 3 through 14, what potentially could be 3 games in 3 days. If you're 7 through 14, you got to play that extra game in the regional tournament. So, yeah, these games are going to count a lot for the computer rankings and help them out tremendously as they look to get their way back to or into the national tournament. And you talk to any coach, they would love nothing better to get that automatic bye to get to St. Louis. It gives them more time to plan for it from an administrative standpoint. Breathe a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about playing those extra games. You can gain a little bit of momentum in the regional tournament, but more often than not, you get, you'd like to have that extra time to hone down your skills, and maybe, clean up some nicks, some injuries or whatnot. So yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend coming up this weekend out at the Big Mountain Classic, the 8th annual classic. And if you're out in that area, highly recommend you check it out, because there is some great hockey in that area with that Big Mountain Classic. And hopefully we're trying to effort to get the Weber State one of the Weber State coaching staffs on, maybe for our show next Monday or possibly the one after that. So to talk about this is, again, they're getting ready for the big showdown coming up this weekend in the Big Mountain Classic. And then, of course, they're looking to set their sights after that on a trip to St. Louis for the national tournament. 13th through the 25th. That's when the whole thing starts. And see if we can't get those dates lined up real quick for you. We'll try to come up with those here real quick as we are awaiting our next guest. She'll be joining us shortly. Taylor Costella is scheduled to join us, the head coach of Eastern Michigan University, as we'll look to talk to her. Talk a little Eastern Michigan Lady Eagle hockey, as they are off to a great start. Their first year as a program, ranked number 1 in the Central region. So it's going to be exciting to see, their journey, putting the team together and getting ready to go. But let's get back to the national tournament here real quick. Just kind of want to give you an idea, the dates and everything. Now, the Division I for the men will be March 13th through the 18th. Men's D2 will be 14th through the 18th. Women's D1 will be the 17th through the 21st. Women's D2 then will start on the 21st and go through the 25th. Men's Division III start on the 18th. and then they go through to the 22nd. So kind of it's 13th through the 25th, a 13-day span of great hockey down in St. Louis at the Centene Center. All the games this year are going to be at the Centene Center. If you've never been there for an event for this national tournament, it's a great, great facility. 3 rinks there. It really is. It's a, and then they've got the outdoor rink for practice. But it's a great gathering with some great hockey. All right. Without any further ado, let's see if we can welcome in our next guest. She is the head coach of Eastern Michigan's women's D2 hockey team, currently ranked number 1 in the Central Region, Taylor Costella. Taylor, thanks for taking time out to be with us. How are you tonight?
No problem. And good. How are you?
I'm great. Wow. I know your season's not over, but I want to congratulate you. Great start so far on the regular season.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun. It's been definitely a ride, and I don't think a lot of people expect it. So it's been pretty fun so far.
So take us through. This is your first year, right? If I'm not mistaken, I said it right. First year as a program, correct?
Right.
In the ACHA?
Yes.
So give us a quick timeline on, when they decided to have the team, and how long it took you to get the team together, recruiting the players, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we started pretty much a year ago from February, and we pretty much went straight into recruiting. And it was myself and my wife, associate head coach Leah, and we pretty much just decided, there was another, reason for us to want to build a team here in Michigan, and it was to give girls an opportunity to play and go to school, at a school and a hockey team that they want to go to. I was unfortunate and fortunate in ways of having options, but none felt like the right fit for me. So, I wanted to be able to give those opportunities to the girls. So, like I said, we started in February of last year, and pretty much started right away recruiting. And from there, it just kind of took off. We put ourselves out there, and we really kind of just were vulnerable, to be honest with you, of we're going to do this and we're going to go all in or nothing at all. So we just kind of went all in, and we had a lot of recruiting from, online, a lot of Instagram, a lot of Live Barn and NCSA, recruiting profiles and things like that. And, we just started reaching out to some girls that we were watching film from. And from there, it kind of just took off and skyrocketed, to be honest with you.
Have you had any time to rest since February?
No, not really, but it's been really exciting. We also coach a tier team here, Big B, AAA 19U. So it was kind of one of those things where we're also already at tournaments and showcases. So the recruiting became a little bit easier when we were in season for Big B. But pretty much like I said, we just kind of dove headfirst into it and kind of just went all in.
So you decided February to do it, and you got the team set.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult was it scheduling other teams to play you?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. So, February of last year, technically, and coming up to, that 1 year mark of last February, we were already recruited a decent chunk of kids, and we were ready to kind of roll into what we wanted to be going into. So we just started reaching out to some local teams, just saying, we're not sure exactly what our team's going to look like numbers wise, but we have enough to play, and we want to, reach out and start scheduling games. And we'll keep you updated, obviously, if we can get to the point where we feel like we're, more competitive and stuff. And I think it was something that we had only 4 or 5 girls committed at the time, and we were already reaching out. And so we had the bare minimum, I think 6 actually, because that's the bare minimum you need to play. And we were like, we're going to just start scheduling games the best we can. Pretty much from there, that was when we started having more and more recruits. And then, we were reaching out to, like I said, mostly local teams within 2 hours from us.
Yeah.
Most of them were really easy to get a hold of. And, I know a lot of them are busy. So they did have some conflicts that some teams couldn't play us, but pretty much every team that had the availability was willing to play us, which was awesome.
Well, that's great. That's what I love about the hockey community, Taylor. It's just they come together to help each other.
Yeah.
And so that had to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. They're very supportive. We have a lot of people that we chat with throughout the season, and a lot of pointers and tips and helpful, faces along the way. And, it's been really great so far.
So I am impressed with another thing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you've got 10 girls on your team, right?
Yes.
I mean, they have got to be just in shape. Their cardio has got to be amazing.
We try. I think we always want them to be better, obviously, but I think
Yeah.
they do have really good cardio. Their stamina is really good. I think it's something that we do a lot of conditioning and practices. They do workouts Monday through Thursday, and they're working out an extra 10 minutes at the end of just conditioning alone. So, we try to skate every practice, and by the end of it, I mean, at the end of every week, you're probably getting a good 60, 70 minutes of conditioning a week. So
Wow.
they're skating a lot. We had 7 skaters for 9 out of our 10 first semester games. And the 18 age rule was an issue for one of our girls, so she couldn't play until our last game of the semester. So yeah, we had only 7 skaters, and we were still doing really well, and it was impressive to see them just kind of go out there. And the first game, obviously a little nervous. They were a little kind of like, oh man, can we hang with them because of our legs, or we're just gonna be tired. And we played CMU, and they had a full roster, and we only had, like I said, 7 skaters and 2 goalies. So we as coaches had the full confidence in them to be able to do what they needed to do. But it is one of those things of, like, you look down the other side and you're like, yeah, they have 20 girls and we only have 10. Their legs are going to start to get tired. And even if their skill is awesome, it's something that's really tough if you start getting tired, and you start having mental mistakes and physical mistakes.
So how about you? Were your first regular season game? How nervous were you?
I mean, honestly, it was almost like it wasn't really like a nervousness that I would have, obviously, from like playing. It was more of just that kind of excitement, and just ready to kind of see what they can do. And we were practicing for a little while before that, so I was pretty confident in their skill. We always tell the girls, they're all chosen for a reason. We hand selected every single one of them for a reason, and so skill wise, we're always confident in anything and everything that they can do. And it wasn't really nerves. It was more so of just that excitement to let them go out there and just do their thing, because I know that they can do whatever they set their mind to.
Well, obviously they're off to a great start. You guys are 11-0-1. It to me, it always starts at the back end, and you've got Alexis Humphreys and
Mhm.
Reese Doty just putting up phenomenal numbers. I mean, the
Yeah.
goals against and save percentage are obviously lights out.
Yeah, no, they're 2 fantastic goaltenders. I couldn't ask for anyone better. That was actually something Leah and I were talking about the other day of, like, we couldn't imagine this season with any other goalies, just because they are phenomenal. And it's something where I can blindly trust either one of them. I don't have to second guess, who I'm going to get in that net. I can, just fully rotate them through and feel comfortable doing so.
So what has been the biggest surprise on the good side for you guys, for your gals, in that first semester that you maybe weren't expecting?
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I mean, honestly, I think just them bonding as well as they did so quickly, I think that was surprising for us as a coaching staff, because I mean, they're all freshmen, none of them know each other at all.
Wow.
It's not like any of them played together or lived that close to each other that they really knew each other. So we did, some team bonding the first week of classes, and we got on campus with them, and all of a sudden they're like just completely glued to each other's hips, and just super, like, just perfect family like atmosphere, which we preach that for our culture. And it was something that was very surprising, that it was so quick and easy for them to just kind of jump into that philosophy that we put forward of family first. And it was amazing to see, and they've kind of really embodied that whole, like I said, family first philosophy that we thrive for our culture. And I think it's something that it's really helped them through those moments of, yeah, my legs are completely gone and I can't give anymore, but I'm going to look down that bench at maybe that one or two other girl, and I'm going to be like, I'm going to do it for them. And so they really dive into that, and it's great to see.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that this whole team is made up of freshmen.
Yes, yeah, they're
And
all freshmen.
so not only is this their first year playing, collegiate hockey,
Hmm.
but it's their first year at a college, and that type of off the ice adjustment, and they're doing this
Hmm.
well, and that to me, I'm shocked. I'm at a loss on that. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely shocking to I think,
I love it.
yeah, people like hear the 10 and then they go, wait, but that's only 8 skaters, 2 goalies. And then they go, wait, and you're all freshmen. And you can just see their wheels are spinning in their head when we talk to them about it, like, how is that even possible that they're doing as well as they are? And that was something that, like, I said in the beginning of, like, I know there was a lot of doubt from people watching us of, like, you're not going to be able to do much with 10 girls, like, and all freshmen. What are you going to do with that? Like, that's going to be really tough for you guys. And we've always told the girls, like, everybody's going to expect us to lose. So let's come out and prove them otherwise.
So they're normal, they're human, just like you and I. I'm sure they're looking at the rankings. They see you're ranked number 1.
Yes.
How hard is it to keep them focused, even though they see that that they're number 1?
I mean, sometimes practices can get a little, unfocused. We actually had a few the other day that were going, oh my goodness, we got to kind of rein them in. So, we have those moments for sure. Like you said, we're human. Even as coaches, we have those moments of, like, we're out here, we're having fun, but at the end of the day, like, yes, we need to, rein it in, make sure we're focused on the next, game, the next set, and make sure that we're truly putting everything we have into every practice. So that way, when the games come on the weekend, we're ready.
So you've got Michigan State for home and home this
Mhm.
weekend, and they're fighting for their playoff lives.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden the novelty of it's wearing off. Your gals are going to be the hunted now since you're
Yeah.
ranked so high.
Yeah, we've talked about that before of, like, everybody's gonna wanna give us our first loss. So we're gonna have to fight tooth and nail for those wins, even more than we thought we would have to. So, as the season goes on, it's gonna get tougher and tougher because everybody's gonna wanna give us our first loss, which, we're gonna do our best to make sure that we don't let that happen.
Now, can you believe you've only got 7 games left in the regular
I
season?
know. Yeah, that's actually something we were talking about as well the other day of we're over halfway through with the season and we're so close to the home stretch that it's almost unreal, but it's very exciting to know that we're getting so close to nationals and that we have a good shot at it.
And now for the Central region, they take 4 teams, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of weird how some of the divisions or regions take 3 and another takes 5.
Yeah.
So, now are you going to stay independent after this year, or are you going to, or is there any plans for Eastern Michigan to go into a conference?
So that is something that we have discussed. I think, there's a lot of things that kind of go into that decision. I think next year it might be good, to stay independent one
Yeah.
more year just to kind of give us a little more freedom, flexibility to play who we want. Also budget wise and travel wise, we can kind of stay close to home
Yeah.
still. But yeah, and in the end, I think, eventually down the road, we do want to, join a conference, and we've talked with, the director of the CCWHA and stuff like that of it is an end goal at some point. We're just not sure when that will be.
And you just brought up another point too that a lot of folks don't realize with the players in the ACHA. You gotta plan your own budget on your own. You don't get the help that from the university that some of the other teams get, and so that's again another aspect of your team, along with all the other ones, that goes unnoticed, and how well disciplined your girls are and your coaching staff is. Not only are you doing well on the ice, but you're doing good off the ice, just with that aspect, along with the grades that the kids have to keep
Right.
up.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot to do and to handle, but it's something, like I said, we had really great people helping us out, giving us pointers and tips along the way before we even got to, the beginning of the season, just kind of sharing what they, do and how they do things and run things. And obviously every school has a different way of doing it. And so it's definitely been something that we've had to learn as we've gone, but it's at this point kind of down pat and just kind of riding into the next season, getting budget ready for then and just kind of keep it going.
So, you played hockey growing up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you play, and then what got you interested in getting into coaching?
Yeah, so I played pretty much my whole career tier 2 here in Michigan, and
Okay.
I played my last year on the 19U Westland Mustangs team, and it was a very similar experience of that family first, and those girls I still speak to this day, and a lot of them have came to my wedding, and coach even I've stayed in contact with them and all that. So it's something that I was always, I always wanted to play and keep playing and things like that, but I think kind of as I got older, my sister started playing more competitively, and they asked us to come out to practices to just help with the younger girls and things. And so she's 6 years younger than me. So it was something that, to me, it was a lot of fun to go out there and just jump out and talk to the girls and just be kind of that big sister and mentor to a bunch of them. And kind of from there, it just kind of took off. And, years later, I was doing learn to play and adult practices out of the local rink where I live. And, somebody kind of came up to me and was like, can you help run one of these teams? And at the time I was, not in any position to want to run a team. And I was still in college. I was still working 2 jobs and playing hockey and all those things. And, I ended up getting thrown into the mix because they didn't have anybody that could even, skate as a parent. And so I did do it and I loved it. And then from there I went straight to Bigby and I've been doing it ever since.
So I'm assuming that you're a Red Wings fan.
Yes.
Who's your favorite Red Wing?
Oh, I am more of a Maple Leafs fan, if I have to be honest.
Oh, this is a Maple Leaf show. My last coach is a Toronto native, and he's a Maple Leaf fan. All right, who's your favorite Maple Leaf then?
I'd have to say Austin Matthews.
Okay. The guy's a stud. He
Yeah,
can
for sure.
sure play the game.
Yeah. Yep. No, I love watching him play. It's something that ever since he came into the league, watching him play has been really fun and exciting. And I think it's just something that, anybody can watch him and say, yeah, he's a good hockey player for sure.
So, okay, getting back to your team.
Mhm.
Now, we've got, like I said, 7 games left. Michigan
Yep.
State with a home this weekend. If there's something, I always ask every coach this, if there's something that you think your gals may need to work on a little bit just to, keep the push going, the positive vibes, if you will, what would that be?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's always the small things. It's always just those little, that burst of energy, making sure that you're giving it your all at all times, because with us being so low in numbers, the dedication is so important.
Yeah.
And being at practice every day is important, and making sure that they're showing up not only physically, but mentally is honestly some of the most important things for our team right now. And just, like you said, locking in when it's important. Yes, we can have fun. Yes, we can be silly and have those moments, but when it comes time to be, in that game mode, we need to make sure that we're doing so. And I think the girls do really well at that. Of when they show up to the rink, they might be laughing and having fun in between the periods, but when it comes to being on the ice, they are totally locked in. And it's actually something my sister says all the time. She takes photos for us, and she says, when she takes photos of the girls, they're just so locked in that they almost look a little scary to take photos of even. And I said, well, that's good. I want them to look scary because that means they're focused. So it is definitely focus. And I think, like you said, not letting that ranking go to their head of like, well, yeah, you're ranked number 1 now, but all it takes is one person to come after you, and that's it. So we have to make sure we stay on top of it.
Do you get the temptation to get out on the ice and practice and scrimmage with the girls?
Oh, always. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where sometimes I jump into drills to help because we are low on numbers. So I'm, jumping in and filling in. But, I try to stay out of it the best I can because I want to get them more conditioning than myself.
Fair enough. Well, Taylor, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for taking time out tonight to be with us. I really enjoyed it. Keep up the great work. Good luck the rest of the year. Hope to see you down in St. Louis, in 2 months. And again, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and hope to see you there.
All right. Taylor Costella, the head coach of Eastern Michigan's women's D2 program, currently ranked number 1 in the Central region, which is big. They take 4 teams from the Central region to go to the national tournament. There's 4 regions. And when they, the final rankings come out, hopefully they're in the top 4 and they can make that trek down. And I got a feeling they're going to be a force to be reckoned with down there if they make it into St. Louis. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go through some of the rankings here and finish up this edition of the ACHA Power Play. We are live right here on 12 Ounce Sports, our 12 Ounce Sports YouTube channel, and of course on Roku 24/7 with our live programming, including the ACHA Power Play. We'll be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
And of course, again, we are your ticket broker, and we don't charge you some of those exorbitant fees that you might see in some of the other sites that the secondary markets. So again, check us out, 12ouncesports.com/tickets. We've got tickets for the playoffs this weekend in the NFL, the national championship game, or it seems like we're kind of slanted towards the Toronto Maple Leafs here with our two guests being Maple Leaf fans with Taylor and Andrew. So we've got tickets for the Maple Leafs too. So we've got them for all the games, all the pro sports, college hockey as well. So that is 12ouncesports.com/tickets. Again, wonderful. It's an easy way to get your tickets. Use the promo code 12ounce too, and you'll get an extra 5% off. So thank you very much, Taylor Costella, for joining us tonight. What a you hear stories like that. They've got 10 skaters or 10 gals on the team, 8 skaters, a couple of goalies. That's it, and they are 11-0-1 or 12-0-1. Absolutely great start for them. Ranked number 1 in their in the Central region. So again, 16 teams make it to the regional or the national tournament in St. Louis coming up March. Their tournament will start March 21st, I believe. So in their region, they need the top 4, and right now they're ranked number 1. Sioux College, the 2-time defending national champions, ranked right behind them. Then you've got Ohio State and then Central Michigan right now occupying those top 4. But then you've got Northern Michigan and Michigan State kind of chomping at their heels right now at 5 and 6, looking to get in. And we talked about Eastern Michigan's schedule coming up here towards the end. They've got games against Michigan State coming up this weekend. Then they've got Ohio State for a game. Then they've got Notre Dame for a pair. And then they end up with Bowling Green. So they've got to keep it going if they want to maintain that ranking to get into the national tournament down in St. Louis. So right now in the Division II rankings, again, real quick, the top teams in the Northeast, you've got Boston College, Boston University at 2 and 3 behind Northeastern at number 1, St. Anselm at number 4. Then you've got Vermont at 5 and Connecticut at 6. In the Southeast region, you've got the Liberty at 1, the Naval Academy at 2, Villanova at 3, Niagara at 4, and Rowan at 5. And in the West region, you have got St. Thomas at 1, Assiniboine at 2, Wisconsin at 3, Dakota College Bottineau at 4, and you've got Iowa State and Maryville at 5 and 6. So those are the teams to kind of keep an eye on right now for the rankings for the national tournament. So, all right, again, thanks to Taylor Costella, the head coach of Eastern Michigan, coming on. First year in the ACHA, and they're off to just a dynamite start, undefeated, 11-0-1 on the campaign as they get through the sprint part of their schedule. So again, a great showing for them so far. Want to take a minute, get you an update on the World University Games going on in Torino, Italy. Our all-star teams for the men and the women from the ACHA participating. The women's team are 1-1. They had a tough game this afternoon, losing to Japan 5-0. They've got Kazakhstan on the 16th, which is a day after tomorrow. And the men's team, big win again today, 5-1 over Japan. So they're 2-0 in their pool play, and they're back in action tomorrow as well. You can keep an eye on them as well. Just you can watch it. Their next game is the men's next game is against. Let's see if I can find it here. They play Slovakia tomorrow, 2:00 Eastern time, from Torino, Italy. So keep an eye on that as well, as they look to keep their pool play going as they're undefeated in pool play. They win, as I mentioned today, 5-1. So, all right, real quick, let's go through some of the rankings. The rankings are the same as last week. We haven't gotten any updated rankings on the men's D1, so we'll let you know that in the top 10, Ohio University, number 1, Minot 2, Nevada, Las Vegas 3, Liberty 4, Jamestown 5, Adrian 6, Niagara 7th, Maryville 8th, Utah 9th, and Calvin at 10. Then 11 through 20s, Drury, Indiana Tech, Grand Canyon, Mary, Oklahoma, Arizona, Midland at 17, Purdue Northwest at 18, Oswego State at 19, then Pitt at 20, Central Oklahoma 21, Delaware 22, Grand Valley at 23, Davenport at 24, Northwood is at 25. And then at the D3 rankings, same as we mentioned, Hope College number 1, Air Force at 2, Oakland at 3, Lawrence Tech at 4, Notre Dame at 5, Calvin at 6, Grand Valley at 7, Michigan State at 8, Michigan at 9, Colorado School of the Mines at 10, Colby at 11, UMass at 12, Arizona State 14, Missouri State at 13, Dordt at 15, and Sacred Heart at 16. So big games coming up this weekend. There's always teams, always battles with ranked teams coming up, especially at the D1 level. We've got some big ones. We can look back at the D1 rankings. We've got Pittsburgh right now. They are ranked at number 20. They're going to take on Niagara. So always a big rivalry there. Number 7, Niagara against number 20, Pittsburgh. Calvin, number 10 this week. They're going to be traveling down to Liberty for a couple of games there against the 4th-ranked Flames. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on this weekend. UNLV, ranked number 3, taking on Missouri State. Missouri State looking to try to get in the national scene again. They made the tournament last year. A big matchup, Drury. Right now, they are ranked number 11. They're going to be taking on Purdue Northwest in a weekend set. These are big games for Purdue Northwest out of the GL6 as they look to solidify their spot as they try to get back to the national tournament again this year. University of Mary at 14. They're going to take on Maryville. They're ranked 8th. So a big matchup with those two powers. Jamestown and Midland. They're going to be doing battle this weekend. The Jimmies are ranked number 5, Midland ranked number 17. So we talked about it with the 8 auto berths in the rankings. You want to kind of stick somewhere in that 16 to 18 ranking range just to solidify your opportunity to get in, because there might be a few teams that aren't ranked that get auto berths from their conference that may take a spot from one of the top 24. So with the sprint part of the schedule, you really want to get as many of these games in, these victories, as you can. Speaking of that, there's a big matchup in the GL6 conference between two teams right on the fringe, number 23 Grand Valley and number 24 Davenport. Both teams looking to try to get back into that top 20, top 18 range. So these are monster games this weekend for both of those two teams. In Division 3, we've got a big matchup of top 10 teams this weekend, as it's going to be Notre Dame, ranked number 5, up from number 8, the last rankings. They're going to take on Michigan. Michigan ranked number 9 this week. So this is a big match for those two teams, big weekend for these two teams. And then women's D1, we've got a handful of matchups, some big ones. As Midland's number 4, they're going to take on Minot, ranked number 6. Let me make sure that's right here on these rankings, since they changed here. All right, so Midland is Midland is at number 5. Minot is at number 4. So number 4 against number 5 in that matchup. And then you've got Indiana Tech at number 7 taking on U of M Dearborn, number 11. So these very important matchups for these two teams, especially U of M Dearborn. They're right on the fringe to get in. And then we've talked about Eastern Michigan with a big weekend set against Michigan State at the D2 level at the Central region, as those two teams looking to try to Eastern Michigan look to keep their number 1 ranking in the Central region, and Michigan State trying to bump their way up, as Northern Michigan, I believe, is holding on to that number 4 spot. And another big matchup in D2 on the men's side. Let's go back to the men. It's going to be Sioux College against or actually the women's side, I beg your pardon. Sioux College, they're going to take on Dakota College of Bottineau, and then they are going to take on their arch rival this weekend, Assiniboine, as those two teams met the national championship game last year, won by Sioux College. So, all right, that's going to do it. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you to Andrew Miller, the head coach of Lindenwood's ACHA women's D1 team, currently ranked number 10. They're getting ready for their stretch run in that rugged WMCH conference. 6 of their teams ranked in the top 12 this week. And we also want to thank Taylor Costella for coming on. Great conversation with her as well. Always exciting, interesting to hear how a team starts out. And they're so successful out of the gate, as the Eastern Michigan Eagles are ranked number 1 in the Central region. We also want to thank you, the viewer, for taking time out to welcoming us into your homes, on your computers, and however you're watching us around the world right here on 12 Ounce Sports and on our Roku channel and our YouTube channel, 12 Ounce Sports. Till next time, next week, another live edition of the ACHA Power Play. Can't wait for that. We'll get you updated on all the rankings next week, and we'll get you updated on all the latest news, including the World University Games, how our teams are doing over there in Italy. They'll be just about wrapping it up, that national or that world tournament over there. Pool play will be ending here shortly, so we'll get you updated on all of that as well. All right, everybody, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us right here on the ACHA Power Play. So long.